Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to session 10 of Asia Live. I'm really happy today because we've come so far. We started in August and it's already end of October, and we've done 10 sessions with the eminent people from so many different countries of Asia, from Bangladesh, from Nepal, from Indonesia, from Vietnam, and I'm really happy that we've come so far. All thanks to Manoj Krishnan for arranging so prominent guests every week. And thanks to ALS for providing this platform for writers to share their views, to read their writing, and, to be able to share everything with the audience. And I would also like to thank our audience who have been with us consistently for, last almost 2.5 months. And be there. They've always been there for all the writers, providing their support. So today we have with us two very young writers, and I'm really happy today because till now I've been hosting people who have been, very great in their field, and to be taking some inspiration from young writers is really interesting for me as well. It's a kick for me also. I would like to start with, a few words. The true alchemists do not change lead into gold, but they change the word into words. And today we have two such young authors who are inspiring the world with the magic of their words. We have with us Yanita Ismail, all the way from Indonesia. Welcome,
Hello,
Yanita.
hello. Good evening, all. Good evening, Miss Vandana and Mr. Yash Sivari. Nice to
Good
meet you.
evening, Yanita. Good evening, Yanita. And we also have with us Yash Sivari from India. Welcome, Yash.
Thank you so much. It is such an honor being on the platform, and I'm really very excited for our conversation. Looking forward to it.
Same here, same here. So, as you can see, the energy is also, the energy itself is brimming here on this platform today with words of
Yeah.
Yash and Yamita. So, I would like a few minutes to introduce both of them.
Sure.
Yanita Ismail is from East Java, Indonesia. She started writing since 2018. She participates in many international poetry contests and challenges and claiming certificates of appreciation for her work. Becoming a winner motivates her to write more. She writes not only in English but also in Bahasa. She feels glad and grateful to see her poems published in anthologies and online magazines. So sweet, Yanita. I think getting some recognition and appreciation is what keeps all the writers motivated here. We're very happy to host you here today. We also have with us Yash Tiwari. Yash Tiwari I guess many of the people in the writing world already know him, but I would still want to
Thank
introduce
you.
him. Yash Tiwari is a 19-year-old award-winning author of two books. He is an international youth mentor, public speaker, a mental health awareness advocate, and has also delivered six TED Talks. He wrote his critically acclaimed debut novel, A Celebration in Tribulation, written at the age of 16, and he has recently authored Pandemic 2020 Rife of the Virus, world's first fiction novel on coronavirus outbreak, for which he has received the India Book of Records as well as the Asia Book of Records for being the youngest author to write a fiction novel on COVID 19. Wow, amazing, Yash. He has
Thank you.
been awarded he has been awarded the Young Author of the Year 2020 award by TIA. He was among the top 100 inspiring authors of India by Indian Avaz. Awarded with Author of the Year award by NEA Text, Youth Leader Award, Top 100 Influential People of India award winner by the Hum Foundation, and also the Global Young Leader Fellowship and TCC Rex Karamveer Chakra Award. My God, yes, you have such a huge list. I really couldn't, fit everything in, and I only have read out the important ones till now.
No,
Uh, you
I'm
know,
really grateful for the appreciation and the warm welcome. Really.
it's an honor to be hosting you here, and may you, have many, many, many more awards. Wish you all the success all the way.
Thank you so
So,
much.
okay, since Yash is talking, I would like a question from the. I would like Yash to answer one basic question. Yash, when did you start writing, and how has been the writing journey? Since the time you wrote your first book.
Yeah,
Could you
so
hear? Do
I
you
mean, the
want to
writing journey definitely has been quite a. Yes, yes, yes. I heard the question. Am I audible?
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yes, you are.
All right, great then. So, as I was saying, it has been quite a roller coaster ride. I believe just like it is for any other writer and author out there who's willing to use his voice and words for the purpose of literature and something greater than just that. And I mean, I started when I was just 16 years old out of my passion for writing, for literature, for storytelling. But then slowly and gradually, that passion has translated into this, I would say, fire within me to motivate as many budding writers out there, to help as many aspiring authors out there as I possibly can. And presently, I feel very fortunate to be on platforms where I get to not just address but also guide and mentor thousands upon thousands of aspiring writers, especially the young ones, around the world in various countries. And that is something which I'm truly very grateful and humbled for, and I wish to take it ahead as well.
So great to hear that. And I'm really glad that when you said that, inspiring so many young authors. So we do have many youth who really aspire to write. We do have
Absolutely.
that feeling. Great, great. And I'm sure to find an inspiration in a person of their age, coming from their background, someone who understands them in the
Exactly.
way they want to be understood would certainly make an impact. So I'm really glad
I
that
mean,
you're
that
out
is
there.
what yeah, thank you so much. That is what the purpose has been to use my voice and my words, especially to mentor and guide my fellow youngsters out there.
Great, great. That's a very, I would say, noble cause that you have taken upon yourself.
Thank you so much.
And Yanita, so how did
Yes.
you start your writing journey, Yanita?
Oh, my writing journey.
Yeah.
Actually, before I didn't like writing at all, and I couldn't write anything at all for poetry.
Okay.
I started my writing journey since 2018.
Okay.
2018. Yeah. That time, I just interested on my friend's post. So she always write her feelings into poetry. So that time I tried to write my feeling into poetry too. And then now it becomes a hobby. And the first time I joined poetry contest, I got the first winner, and it was unbelievable. It was delighted.
Okay.
And yes, and after that, I keep trying and trying to develop my writing and improving. So yes, until now, I can't believe that I become a poet now. And I'm very glad that my poems have been read by the people, the readers all over the world. It was
Wow.
excited, yes, because
Great.
at the time I also joined anthologies and online magazine.
Great.
Yes,
Great. Great.
thank
So good
you.
to know. So, who has been your source of inspiration, Yanita? Who
Uh,
inspired you to write? Is it coming from your family? Is somebody in your
uh,
family?
no, I like William Shakespeare. I
Oh,
like
great.
his poems very much. Yes, I like the
So how
way
many poems have you read?
her style poems, and I like the words and dictions I'm sorry, he used in his poetries. So that's why I'm interested to write poetry until now.
Great, great, great. It's wonderful to know. It is said that not everybody can write a poem. So it's really wonderful if you are really able to, pen down your thoughts in the form of a poem. And now over to Yash. So Yash, who has
Yeah.
been your inspiration for writing? Was it since childhood? You're still a child,
Yeah.
I would say, in front of me, but but I mean, whenever
No,
you thought that you would want to write, so was there
yeah.
some particular figure in your head, in your mind, that whom you want,
Yeah.
who basically inspired you to write, or did it just come on its own? Is there somebody in your family who is a writer, or who pushed you towards writing?
All right. All right. So, see, I'll be bluntly honest over here. I have
Please.
been passionate. about writing and creating stories and weaving these webs of narrative since as long as I can remember. I mean, I was just 6 or 7 years old when I used to write a lot of stories and poetries and stuff like that, and my parents used to
Okay.
upload that on some online blog and whatever was possible back then in the history. But that just tells me about one fact, that yes, the seeds for creating stories, for using my words, to narrate, let's say, tales and stuff like that, had been there within me for quite a long time, as I can possibly
Okay.
think of. But then it was
Okay.
only in 2018, like Yanita also mentioned, it was the same for
Yeah.
me as well, when I
Yeah.
was appearing for my 12th boards examination, and the passion just kept on building up and up and up. And I finally decided to take that step to, just pour it out, just create a story out of that inclination which I have within my own self towards the field of literature. Now, answering the second part of your question about the inspiration thing, to be very honest, when I think about my endeavors, when I think about the stories that I create or the narratives that I build up, I try to feel more inspired by the situations, by the happenings around the world, rather than just one singular person whom I can, look up to. That is what motivates me more. Like, for example, when I talk about my latest novel as well, Pandemic 2020 Rise of the Virus, the inspiration of it did not come from, let's say, just one single person. It came from the sorrows, the grief,
Mhm.
and the loss of the people from all walks of life and all around the world. But then again, it so happens that I do come from a line of many, inspiring authors and writers in my family as well, because my
Okay.
maternal grandfather, yes, Mr. Ramratan Avasthi, who passed away just a couple of months back, he was a very acclaimed writer in the field of Hindi. My paternal grandfather, Major Dr. N.D. Sharma, he was also an academic writer. So I do believe that, yes, the blood of literature does flow in me from my family side as well.
I'm sure it does because the number of awards that you have to your credit, I'm sure it's coming somewhere from your genes as well. So you better give
Thank
the
you.
credit to them.
Absolutely, absolutely. I surely do.
Yeah. So good to know that. So over to Yanita. Yanita, would you like to recite one of your poems for us? Anything you would like
Reciting my
to say?
poems. Okay, I have prepared two of my poems. The first one is motivation for myself. I wrote this poem when I lost my confidence during my competence exam. I lost my confidence, so I wrote this poem. I hope you like to hear it.
Of
The
course.
surprise of tomorrow. We will never know what is the surprise of tomorrow. Prepare ourselves, the face show. The dark side of the sky will turn glow. We will get a victory in the end. Be optimistic and will toughly to stand. Remember, we are painting wondrous future on the land. Rebuild our confidence that lost. The hardest barrier we cross. Do not limit time, the castles in the air will cross.
Beautiful, beautiful. You've written
Thank
deep.
you so much.
Yes, very, very well written, Yanita. Very well
Uh,
written.
yeah, the second one. I
Yeah.
hope that you like fried rice. I like
Oh,
Indonesia. Indonesia is well known with the deliciousness of the foods. We call it nasi goreng Aceh, Aceh fried rice.
mm-hmm.
I wrote this poem when I tried to cook uh, Aceh fried rice. I hope you like
Okay.
to hear it from me. Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
I like cuisine.
Okay.
Aceh fried rice or nasi goreng Aceh. One plate of nasi goreng Aceh welcoming my morning weekend with the cooling fresh air in trains
Okay.
until step. The smile comes with full of desire, smelling the deliciousness of the spices, seasoning all together, adding margarine, and finish it with a half-cooked egg. I have neither cucumber nor cabbage. Fresh tomato slices are also very refreshing. I dedicated this dish to all fried rice lovers who want true fattening.
That is such a sweet poem. I'm sure the people who really like nasi goreng will be able to
Yes,
appreciate it.
yes. I'm nasi goreng lovers. I hope
You're a nasi
all of
goreng
you
lover?
like
Oh,
nasi
okay.
goreng too.
I
You
don't know.
must
Maybe
try. You must try.
and
You must try
that's why
Indonesian food.
that's what I was saying, that I did try nasi goreng. In fact, last week only. Somehow, maybe it's not cooked that well in India as it would be in Indonesia. So at least I didn't like the taste, but my son did. So yeah, a great one. That's a
Thank
very
you so
different
much.
poem, actually. Yeah, great. So coming to Yash, would you like to tell us anything about your book, the recent one
Absolutely,
about the
absolutely.
COVID? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Or you would like to
absolutely.
read
I mean,
something? Your choice. Yeah,
yeah, I mean, whenever you ask an author to speak about his or her book, I'm sure that every author would be very enthusiastic about it, right? That is
absolutely,
quite normal. So
absolutely.
I would also love to share a little bit about my latest novel, and I have a copy of it with me as well, just to give a sneak peek
Please,
of it, I would say. So here
sure.
is my latest novel, Pandemic 2020, Ripe of the Virus, as you can see. And even on the cover, you might be able to decipher that there are four stories in total depicting four different walks of life and four different countries
Okay.
as well. I hope it is clearly visible on the screen.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
All right,
Yeah.
that's great to know. That's great to know. So, speaking a little bit about the story of my novel and how it came about exactly, it was the month of April last year in 2020. The pandemic was just rolling out, the lockdowns were also just rolling out, and I'm talking
Yes.
about the time when we thought that the lockdown is only going to be for 22 days, if you remember that time period when we
Right.
were under that impression, right? So I decided that within these 22 days, why don't I create a narrative that has a purpose, first of all, but also speaks about the countless number of individuals, and as I like to call them, the warriors of the coronavirus outbreak around the world from various walks of life who might or might not get the recognition that they deserve. Why don't I create a narrative around them which gives them a spot in our global history, in our literary history, I should say? Because as an author, but also as an avid reader of some of the most brilliant contemporary works, especially in today's time, I believe that when something is embedded in the literary works of, let's say, some book or some narrative, it lives on and on for generations to come. So I wanted to give the same spot to our warriors of coronavirus outbreak as well. And I decided to write a story based on them, about them, and also for them. And so I eventually conceptualized this tale of four people in specific: a helpless doctor all the way in US, a stranded traveler all the way in Italy, an ambitious journalist all the way in India, in our country, and also a poor boy all the way in China. And how these people from different walks of life, from around the world in different countries, grapple with the sufferings and the sorrows and difficulties of this one common pandemic, the coronavirus outbreak, is what eventually the story of my latest novel, Pandemic 2020, Rife of the Virus, became to be. And at the end of the day, I was very clear with one thing. Even if I'm writing a story that gives a realistic account of all that we have gone through, especially in the initial phase of the COVID 19 outbreak, I would say last year, I want to give a finality, an absolution to the story that is optimistic, that speaks about the bright end at the dark tunnel, which we might be caught up in at the moment. So I mean, I cannot spoil much right now for those who haven't read the book, but I can assure you that even if the entirety of the narrative might feel a little bit gloomy because it is the realistic account of all that we had to suffer from the coronavirus outbreak, but eventually the message that is delivered, it is very optimistic, it is very hopeful, and it does speak about the bright end at the end of the dark tunnel. So yeah, that is what my latest novel is all about, and I'm really very happy, I'm very grateful as well for the very positive feedbacks that I have been receiving from around the world, and very happy to have set an international record with this book as well, and absolutely thrilled about, let's say, the readers out there who might be reading this book in future as well.
Great, great to know. I think there
Yes.
are as many stories of Corona as as there are people around. So each of one has had their own journey, their own experiences, their own struggles. Some have lost, some have recovered. So one book will not do the justice, but at least you have done the beginning by, penning the thoughts. That's one
Yeah.
great thing. And one thing which I liked is that you said that all the stories end on a positive note. So there is a ray of,
It-
hope. There is a ray of light, because ultimately we need optimism, and we need to be, hopeful that things will be improving
that,
very soon. And
I
I
mean,
would really want,
even if we look at the present scenarios, we will be able to
yeah,
understand that as compared to last year, things are getting better. We are
yes,
getting better.
yeah,
I mean, as a matter
yeah,
of fact, just today only a billion jabs have been, given. A billion
yeah,
vaccinations have been done in our country. So that is a
yeah.
huge hopeful note. Something that we need to be very much optimistic about.
Yes, we need to, because we need to come out of this online platform and host the interviews offline as well.
Exactly. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Then we would call Yanita all the way from Indonesia to travel to India
Sure.
and come be a part of our session, offline session. Right, Yanita? So, taking the session a little further, I would, if two of you permit, I am also kind of a writer and a poet. So I would like to recite one of my poems, if you allow.
Absolutely. We would
Thank
love to
you.
hear.
It will be nice to hear.
So I'm going to read a poem which is done a little differently. So I have inclination towards writing different forms of poetry, and I really enjoyed doing that. But this one is not a different form of poetry, but it kind of includes all the idioms and proverbs which are famous in different countries. So it includes those idioms, and it's built around that.
That's
So
interesting.
the title of the poem is "Do What It Takes." So just to give a quick thing, yes, I'm also more of a inspiration kind of writer. So I also like to end the poems on optimism and hope.
That's
So the
great.
poem,
That's
yeah, thank you. Do what it takes. You may think the sky has fallen, but be certain of the ground you stand, as things that are pernicious for you may not be wild for everyone. In Turkey, they say, if the word flooded, it wouldn't matter to the duck. Energy comes from within. It means when Kenyans say the dog is propelled by its tail. Know the value of things around you. Those who don't know a falcon will eat it, Arabians proclaim. And hey, don't squander your time on trivialities. Yes, you guessed it right. The eagle doesn't wage a war against frogs. Believe my Italian mates. When clouds obstruct your sun, just become a cloud and blend in. To live with wolves, you have to howl like a wolf. How aptly Russians say. Don't let defeat hold you back. Fall 7 times, stand up 8, say Japanese. Trust Turkish when they say, those who want yogurt in winter must carry cow in their pocket. To achieve your goals, you have to do what it takes. I'm not sure it actually made sense to you guys, but it was actually each of the
no,
proverbs
it was
was
great. It was really very great, and the
so
international feeling to it was also very wonderful.
yeah, so
Wonderful,
I
wonderful,
specifically
man.
chose because it has a lot of proverbs from the different countries, and still I try to instill some kind of optimism into the poem.
That was great. That was really very great.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. Okay, Yanita, do you have another read for us? Another poem of yours that you would want to share with us?
Excuse me?
Yeah, Yanita, do you want to read another poem of yours? Also,
Another point?
yeah. Also, tell us about the kind of literature that is widely read in Indonesia, if you can. I mean, what kind
Oh,
of
okay. I have
what
more in Indonesia. Wait, ma'am.
I mean,
Uh,
what do you guys? People tell you to
I have
read.
a haiku. I have a haiku, Indonesia haiku.
Okay, sure.
Yes. Uh, Seminggu lagi menunggu pengumuman, cemas gelisah. It is. I wrote this haiku poem when I'm waiting for the announcement of my exam. I felt worried with the result. That's why I wrote this haiku.
Okay. I'm sure
Yeah.
everybody knows what a haiku is, but still, for the people who do not know, I would just like to mention haiku is a three-line poem that follows a pattern, a syllabic pattern of 575. So you have to have 5, 7, and 5 syllables in each line.
Yeah,
And
five schemes.
yeah, yeah. So what Yanita just recited for us was following the same pattern. I hope in her language because I really couldn't understand it. Yeah. What is the kind of literature that is generally liked by people of Indonesia, Yanita? Do you, I mean, do your friends or family or anyone like to read more of poetry, or do they have more inclination towards fiction or non-fiction? What is it that
Um,
hold of the people?
they have poetries, my friends,
Poetry.
and also they also write fiction and novel and also short story. I'm still learning from them,
Mm-hmm.
and I try to learn how to write short story. I'm interested in it, but I cannot tell. I cannot tell a story longer like that. That's why I'm just trying to, yeah, still learning, ma'am.
Yeah, so you were trying with short stories first, right?
Yeah, I'm
Great.
not. I'm not great like Mr. Yash.
That's okay. I
He's
mean, everyone
very
has to start.
talent. Yeah, he's very talent.
Everyone needs to make a start. Maybe he started
Yes.
at an early age.
Exactly.
So,
And I mean, see, you are in a field of poetry that, trust me, a kind of, uh, it overwhelms a lot many writers out there. People out there feel, let's say, daunted by this particular field of poetry and haikus and the narratives that you are presenting in the rhymed words. Because this is something which requires a lot of perfection, which requires a lot of mastery, and I absolutely am able to see that in your words. So, what you are doing is inspiring and is special in your own way. That is what I would like to say.
now I guess Yash is giving us a feel of how he inspires the writers, and I really like that.
Thank you so much.
So poetry is more about putting your thoughts across in few words, and Yanita, I think you're doing that very well. Yeah, and in
Exactly.
short story, it gives you the liberty to do that in more words. So I think you will reach there someday, but pretty soon, and I'm sure you will be reading out an excerpt from your book the next time we host you. Okay, Yash, would you like to tell us about your first book?
Absolutely, sure, sure. So
Yeah,
my first novel, which came out in 2018, was titled "A Celebration in Tribulation," and a little bit of journey behind it. I would also like to talk about.
yeah,
So
please.
I was just 16 years old. I was just finishing off with my 11th standard examination, and 12th standard was starting. And all of us in India are aware how hectic the 12th standards are, right? We have the boards classes, so the pressure was sky high on me as a student. And I was also elected as the head boy of my school. So I knew that for the rest of the 1 year, I'm only and only going to be focused in my academics and in my school, basically. So I had this
Yeah,
22 days holiday period between the end of my 11th standard and the beginning of my 12th standard. And I felt that
right.
no, maybe this is the only time, this prolonged period of 22 days, when I might actually be able to do something in my field of passion, because after this it is only and only going to be about academics and work and stuff like that. So I just decided that why don't we start writing for the sake of it? And I mean, I'm being bluntly honest. That first page which I started writing was genuinely just for the sake of it, just to give, let's say, a step in the field of my passion, in something that I have been envisioning about for a very long time. But little did I know that within those 22 days, I would end up authoring my debut novel titled A Celebration Tribulation, which will go on to receive a lot of international acclaim, which will go on to receive a lot of globally acclaimed awards as well. And by the way, was also launched at the platform of Asian Literary Society only in the Confluence of 2018.
I know.
All
I
in
did
all,
it in the.
Acha, okay, that's great to know. That's really great to know. So, all in all, it was something which I started just because I felt like, why don't we give it a go? But eventually, it became the definition of my life. Eventually, it kickstarted the journey that I am on today, right now, even at this young age, of mentoring and helping and impacting thousands of other youngsters out there in the world. So, that is
Great.
another, I would say, bit of. Information or personal experience which I would like to share with the aspiring writers and aspiring individuals out there, whichever field you are in. Just give your passion a go, just give your passion a try, because you never know what might end up becoming a part of the global history. Now, talking a little bit about the story of my book as well, which is titled A Celebration in Tribulation, it depicts the journey of this young 15-year-old girl who, on her 15th birthday, is diagnosed with an incurable disease. And then from that point onwards, it is all about how the sorrows and the struggle of one single individual has a great deal of impact on the life of others around that person as well. It has a great deal of impact, especially on the loved ones, on the parents, on the siblings, on the friends, and the people who value you, who are connected with you in more ways that you can possibly think of. And then eventually, spoiling it a little bit, the story does end on a very gloomy note. But then, even with the theme of death, the the essence of death, which I tried to narrate through my first novel, I tried to make it as much hopeful as I possibly could, with the last page saying that death is not the ending. It never can be, and it never will be. And there is always and always more to a person's story. So eventually, even in that novel, which was primarily about death and life, I tried to make it as much hopeful and as much optimistic as I possibly could. So that is what the first book was all about.
Great, great. I mean, it's really wonderful to see that at an age when, most of the people are trying to figure out about their future, trying to figure out what they need to be in their lives, trying to basically create an individuality for themselves. You already are, inspiring other people, and you've already carved out a, area where about which you're passionate also, and I'm sure you will achieve great heights, Yash.
Thank you.
Certainly. And I'm sure that Yanita will soon be coming on our platform with her short stories. And
Yeah.
yeah, and we would be
I
looking
hope I
forward.
can write a short story. My first short story.
Yes, please, for sure. Now, we are also
And
at the end of the session. And sorry, Yanita, you were saying something. Did I interrupt you?
no, it's enough now. It's enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are almost at the end of the session, and I would just like to finish with few golden words from Khalil Gibran. I'm sure both of you and all the audience must have heard about him. He's a great writer. He says, your living is determined not so much by what life brings to you, as by the attitude you bring to life. Not so much by what happens to you, as by the way your mind looks at what happens. They deem me mad because I will not sell my days for gold. And I deem them mad because they think my days have a price. So it's all about how the attitude, which we carry in our lives. And since it was all going on an inspirational way, so I thought, why not end with the inspiring words of the great writer? And it was an absolute pleasure and an honor to host you both. And trust me, the energies have been, really contagious here today. And I'm sure we would have inspired a lot others. And we're getting very good comments from the audience also. You guys can check it out later. We have Mani and Ankurita and Manoj and Zeba and a lot of other people constantly commenting, which I'm not able to, read out, but I've been trying to share. And it would be good to see you again on our platform. It's the Asian Literary Society hosts several programs, and it is our endeavor to bring more young writers like you, so that we are able to turn out more writers as well. So thank you so much. It was
Yeah.
indeed a pleasure to host you both. Any last words from both of you as we sign out? Okay.
Yanita, would you go first?
Nanda, would you want to say any last few words?
Um, I just want to say, I'm very glad to see you, Yash Tiwari, and also Miss Vandana.
Same here.
You really give me inspiration to write more and more, especially for short story. I'm interested to write short story. Thank you so
That's
much
great.
for the inspiration. Wish you luck.
Thank you, Nanda. Thank you. All the good luck to you.
Thank you so
Yash, you
much.
would want to say something before we sign off?
Yes, absolutely. So, thank you so much once again, Asian Literary Society, for having me on the platform. It was a true honor being here again, interacting with the brilliant community that has been created by Manoj Krishnan sir. Thank you so much, Vandana ma'am, for being so gracious and being so appreciative. It was truly a great experience. And yes, it was great connecting with you all. You all can reach out to me on www.yashtiwari.org as well. And looking forward to be on the platform once again very soon as well. Thank you.
Most certainly. Most certainly. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, audience, for staying with us. And with that, we'll end our session today. Thanks a lot. Good night.
Bye.
And have a great
Bye
weekend.
bye. See you next time.